So just starting off with your eyes open and looking around the room and just starting to become aware of your surroundings without any judgment, just noticing. Maybe you can see the computer in front of you or the phone. Maybe you can notice the floor. What kind of floor is it? Maybe you can notice whatever it is in your surroundings. Just noticing. I wonder if you can see something that's been there all along that maybe you never noticed before.
And then I wonder if you can bring your attention to the sounds around you. What's the furthest sound you can hear? And then I wonder if there's any sounds close in the room that you're in, or in the building that you're in. Maybe it's a sound you've heard so many times before, but you've never really paid attention to. And just notice how sounds can just rise and fall all by themselves.
And I wonder if you can notice the different textures of your surroundings. Some things are smooth and some things are rough. Some things are soft. And what you can do is almost zoom in on the table or on the computer or on something nearby and just look closer maybe than you've looked at it before. What do you notice?
And then you can start to allow your attention to fall inwards. You might want to close your eyes. And just notice what you experience in your body. If you've never been in a body before, what would you really notice? Maybe the feeling of gravity pulling you down. Or maybe you would notice the rise and fall of your breath.
I wonder if you can notice your heartbeat. Notice how your attention can go inside and drop through different layers of sensation. I wonder if you can feel the energy on the inside of your hand. And then I wonder if you can just ever so slightly change that perspective and feel the skin on your hands. And maybe you can turn your attention to your face and check and see, is there any tension there? Anything holding? not doing anything about it, just noticing with this power of your attention.
And then you might notice if there's any thoughts here. And just check and see the deep sense of curiosity and wonder. How do you experience a thought? Is it a voice in your head? Or maybe it's an image that pops up? Or maybe there's just this sudden sense of knowing something. Just see if you can really be attentive to the way thought manifests. And just like we did with sounds, you might notice that it's possible to see that thoughts can just rise and fall. You don't have to touch them.
Now you can start to bring your attention into your emotional body. And I don't know where in the body that would be, but you can start to scan your body and check what's going on in the emotional system. Are there any places where there's some build-up, some bubble? And again, without trying to do anything about it, without trying to fix it or change it, without any judgment whatsoever, just purely noticing. What happens when you give your attention to these places where there are stored emotions? What happens if you give your full attention? So you don't avoid it, don't tell a story about it, don't try to fix it or change it. You just simply give it your full attention. And notice what happens. It could be very subtle. This is an opportunity in this moment to meet what's here.
And if you find yourself starting to tell a story about an emotion that's here, sometimes it can be helpful to just put your hand on wherever you experience this emotion in your body. So maybe it's your throat, maybe it's over your heart, maybe it's in your lower belly or somewhere else. Just to stay with the felt sense of this emotion with no story. What's it like to just experience the sensation and the energy of this emotion?
So now we can actually see if we can find a particular type of emotion. See if you can find any anxiety. Maybe you don't call it anxiety. Maybe you call it stress. Maybe you call it fear. Doesn't matter what you call it, but wonder if you can discover this anxiety in your system. And in this moment, would you be willing to inquire into it, just to observe all the aspects of it without trying to fix it, without trying to change it, without trying to figure it out, but just to be curious and to notice. And you could start with perhaps, what is the trigger for this anxiety, if you can find it? And take this very slowly and just notice. Perhaps it's the circumstances going on in the world right now. But to be a little clearer, you might notice if it was the way they talk about it on the news, or something your friend told you, or something your mother said. And then you might even notice, even closer, was there a thought that you had? Are there any thoughts in your own mind that are actually linked to this anxiety? Again, not trying to fix it, not trying to blame thoughts or anything else, just noticing. What's the pattern? Where does it start? What's my role in this?
It's very natural for us to avoid anxiety in our day-to-day life. There's a way that most of us can live on top of it, or maybe some of us indulge it, or maybe we try to take control. Maybe we just numb ourselves out. So you might just check and see, how have you been responding or reacting to this anxiety? And right now you have an opportunity to, instead of doing anything with it, just allow yourself to fall right into it. A willingness to see what it is, to see what the fullness of it is. And you might notice other emotions starting to come up. There might be an anger, or maybe there's a deep fear, or maybe you're getting in touch with despair. And we invite you to just open, letting that willingness guide you to simply open to this.
What's your experience as you open to what's already here without judging it? I wonder if you can recognize some part of you that's been avoiding or been resisting, some very core feelings going on inside you, maybe in your belly or in your chest. And as you get quieter and quieter, and you go inside, you can start to meet all these aspects of yourself that you've been avoiding. And you might notice that as you meet these feelings, these emotions, these thought patterns, you might notice something about their quality once you meet them fully. Perhaps they're not what you thought they were. Perhaps as you open deeply to fear and despair, maybe anger, frustration, you might notice that just by opening to them and meeting them fully, something shifts with them, something changes quite naturally. And you might discover they're not as solid as you thought they were. They're not as real as you thought they were necessarily. They're not as scary as you thought they were. So I don't know if that's true for you, but you can explore that now just simply by opening, feeling exactly whatever is here. Nothing more, nothing less. Just whatever is here in this moment. You meet it fully.
And you can just check right now to see if there's any part of you that's resisting. Is there anywhere that maybe you are unconsciously bracing against? You can meet that. And as you soften and open, just allow yourself to be surprised at what might come up, to not know. Just be fully with yourself, with whatever is arising. And you might start to notice that if there's some emotions that have come up, maybe it felt like they had been bottled up in some way. And now you might be able to start to notice a sense of spaciousness around them. Put your attention there.
So as you have opened to these layers of thought and physical sensations and then emotions, I wonder if you can notice how your attention has dropped through each one. First noticing thoughts and then dropping deeper into the physical body and then dropping even deeper into emotions. And in meeting some of these deeper emotions, I wonder if you can let your attention fall all the way through these emotions. Just notice if it's possible to drop in and down, feeling the emotion fully and then falling out the bottom. And as you fall out the bottom of these emotions, you might fall into this open space, this spaciousness that holds all emotions, holds all thoughts, and holds all physical sensations. So that as the thoughts are coming and going, and sensations are coming and going, and emotions are actually coming and going, and they're all coming and going inside something, inside a field of presence, a field of consciousness, a field of you. So in this moment, what if you are this unchanging, empty field of open presence, that within which thoughts and feelings and emotions are coming and going? What if you let yourself dissolve and merge with this field of presence, this field of consciousness? What's it like to lose all your boundaries? To lose the edges of where I begin and where consciousness ends, and where consciousness begins and I end? What if that boundary just disappeared and dissolved in this moment? What's left when you dissolve? So let's just sit now for 5 to 10 minutes, just in silence, allowing ourselves to dissolve into this moment. And you might find that body sensations can arise, maybe thoughts will arise, and maybe more emotions from deeper down can bubble up. And you can meet everything that comes and just keep dissolving into this conscious presence that is the field that even notices that there's an emotion, that's aware of the emotions. So we're going to sit now for 5 to 10 minutes and just let yourself be dissolved.